Hey everybody, it's Thunder. You can call me Nick. And today we're building a PC. Well, kind of. So I wanted to kind of walk through a brand new PC build because I have a few friends that I know are big fans of the channel, and I wanted to at least give an opportunity to show what it's like to build a PC and what all you need and what it actually looks like. Now, I've had a lot of changes from what I'm going from, which I wish I could show you, but it's in literal shambles. Some of this stuff is from my old PC. How much money I spent on this PC, and then some more. Now, if you are finding my channel for the first time, and you go, "Oh, this guy seems a respectable guy," save yourself some time. Don't subscribe. I usually make unhinged content. This is not my normal. I'm gonna try to get this video out today, but I really hate recording videos on my phone, and I really hate editing videos from my phone. So yeah. But first, I'm gonna shove this backwards because I've been waiting on this piece for a while. I bought all of this, well, some of this stuff on Black Friday. And I'm still waiting on one piece, so which I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But let's open up this and then go over everything I got. Okay, little small guy here. All right. Anyway, all right. So when you're building a PC, you got to look at a few different things. Obviously, number one, a case. This case does not fit on my screen. It's huge. It is significantly bigger than what I had before. Not height-wise, but definitely width-wise. Biggest thing is, talk about a processor. Let's unbox the processor real quick. So that is literally, like, yeah. Anyway. This is my brand new Ryzen, AMD Ryzen 7 9700X. This is a huge upgrade coming from my previous generation AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. The difference in the chip is this chip, you can't tell, is very flat. There's nothing on the bottom. Whereas before, there used to be prongs that went out, and there's like several of them. They get damaged really, really easily. That's a huge upgrade. I'm going to put this back in the thing because of where it's going to go. So, that's my processor. Another huge upgrade is my cooling system. If this doesn't tell you how big this thing is, I don't know what does. I'm not doing this very gracefully at all. Oh, please peel off label before use. Done. Let go. Okay, so before, I had an air-cooled system. And while an air-cooled system is great, out of all the PCs I've ever built in my entire life, in which I've built a few, having a liquid-cooled system is very, 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 very important. It makes it just run genuinely better. It makes it feel genuinely better. So we have a cooled system, a water-cooled system, versus the typical style I went with before, which is an air-cooled system. So huge upgrade as far as that goes. Some of the stuff I'm not going to really show off because it's not really important. I have 3 hard drives, 1 internal hard drive, which if you're building a PC and you don't have a what do you even call it? A pre-balanced, or I guess a pre-set up hard drive like I do, you won't have Windows on it. So if you are wanting to build a PC and you don't have Windows already, you're going to want to get a hard drive, or at least get Windows, and it's not cheap. This hard drive I've had since the very first PC I've ever built. That was years ago. I was still in high school at that point. I'm now well past graduated. This is my old graphics card. This is a GeForce RTX 3050, nothing fancy. It's just a little 8 gigabyte card, but this is getting upgraded soon, which by soon, I'm not going to record the part where I put the new graphics card in. It's not that exciting, but I'm upgrading this as well. This is a huge upgrade from what I'm coming from, which is obviously a 3050 with 8 gigabytes to a 9060 XT, so a different brand. I'm going AMD route versus the NVIDIA route. NVIDIA makes great cards, don't get me wrong, but this 3050 has been alright. But I'd like to keep everything all one brand, so that's why I went AMD processor, AMD graphics card. Plus, I've heard a lot of great things about AMD graphics cards. I've done a lot of research before. I had a really tough time because I was really bouncing between a 5060 Ti and a 9060 XT, and ultimately ended up with the 9060 XT. It just runs the games I play a lot smoother, a lot better, and it's a 16 gigabyte card, so it's a huge upgrade from this. I was thinking about going with an 8 gigabyte card, but I was maybe spending, what, $30 more? So I ended up just going with that. Now, really quickly before I get into everything else, if you're looking to build a PC right now, buy a pre-built. I don't usually say that, but I'm saying that right now because of this bad boy right here. This is DDR5 RAM. Now, the reason why I say DDR5 RAM is because the PC I used before had DDR4 RAM. DDR4 RAM is cheap, it's still easy to get, but it's outdated. It's not as fast, it doesn't process a lot of things, it doesn't help your processor process a lot of things faster. So I had to downgrade. So before I had almost 40 gigabytes of RAM. Now I'm downgrading to 16 gigabytes. Now, I will be getting another 16 gigabyte stick eventually, but with DDR5 RAM, it's a little bit more powerful. I'm not too worried about it, but at least I have RAM for now. And like I said, I can get a new stick later, but RAM prices are through the roof right now. I don't want to pay out the wazoo for RAM, which I'll get into that later. Next, I don't know if it's an upgrade, but with me changing out my chip. So the previous chip is what is called an AM4 chip. This is an AM5 chip. Difference is, like I said, like I was kind of talking about before, the prongs. So this doesn't have prongs. Because of that, they're not cross compatible. So I had to get a brand new X870 motherboard. Now, that is better than what I had before, because what I had before was a B650, which means nothing. But the biggest thing is a couple of improvements. They're actually, I guess it would be an improvement because the Wi-Fi chip in this is better. The ability to put DDR5 RAM in it is in here, and the ability to run an AM5 processor. This thing is absolutely massive when compared to my other motherboard. This doesn't have very much difference from what I had before. Biggest thing is still get 4 slots for RAM. You still get an only AMD Ryzen port. Actually, take that back. It may be different. Nothing too crazy here. Not really much difference is what I'm seeing. So, and then the last thing I've got is something I could have probably waived because I didn't realize this till after my power supply. I went with a Vortex 700 watt. All of my stuff recommends a lot less, but like even my graphics card recommends a 600 watt. So I like to play it safe, but I may pull my other power supply because my previous one is a 750 watt. which in the PC world, if you want to upgrade and you want to just literally do anything better, a 750 watt isn't the biggest killer. Most upper end PCs, they have 800 watt power supplies. You don't really need it, but for overclocking purposes, it is nice. But we're talking about budget here. A 700 watt will do just fine. And then of course, this is a Wi-Fi antenna. That means nothing to me. But now that we have everything here, so we are going to attach everything. We're going to put it in this case. Now, I don't know the brand for this case. I believe the cooler is Microsonic. Motherboard is technically an MSI, but I believe it's a different brand. Obviously, graphics card right now is NVIDIA, but it's getting upgraded to AMD. Obviously, chip is AMD. Really went with some, it's called Nemix. Yeah. Yeah. DDR5 RAM. Nothing crazy. And then Western Digital, pretty common brand for hard drive. Fans are from my old tower, since this one did not come with any fans up whatsoever, which is fine. I already know that those fans they'll just plug right into my motherboard, so that's no big issue. But other than that, let's get started. Now the biggest thing is, one thing I love about this case is they have these really easy screws that come undone from the PC case, like so. And this one has two different glass panels plus a side panel, which will have this thing opened up in just a second. All right. Ooh. Careful, because that is glass. We are going to set it off to the side where it's not going to break. That's one piece of glass. Next piece here, another 4 screws. Now it's best whenever you're getting into your brand new case here to open it as open as you possibly can. Biggest thing is you want as much space, because eventually this stuff will not look as organized as it does now. And as I'm putting everything in, I'll kind of explain what each part does as best as I can without over nerding it, because I'm a nerd. I build PCs. I've built PCs since before I even got in high school. PCs and everything else in between. So yeah, it's kind of what I just do. So that's another piece of glass. Alrighty, and then one last panel back here. This is a very important panel. Should be 2 screws here. I'm going to probably have to get a screwdriver. Okay, if you're ever wanting to get into any sort of PC build, it's always good to have a good Phillips head. I would not recommend something as long as this, but I do have plenty of space, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, should just be 2 screws. It's typically how it is. No matter what case you get, typically there's 2 screws back here, and then should either just pop out or slide out. And now I have a beautifully opened up case. In this, you do have, so this particular case does have a couple of LEDs in it. They're not like the RGBs. I personally don't like the RGBs. They don't make sense to me. You typically find these on top of them too. This one is getting taken off. It's just a mesh metallic thing, but it's nothing really too fancy. But because I am mounting something to where that was at, I do need that removed. These couple of these cables here, very not too important, but they're basically to control the LEDs. That's where the motherboard will be put in that, and that's actually what we're first installing. So, in your case, you'll have 4 little screw points, and on your motherboard, you will actually see a few. Sometimes they'll have a few. It's really hard to see on this one, but there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't nobody make a 6, 7 joke, I swear. 9. There's 9 on here. Okay, so biggest thing is you got to make sure you know where your ports are. There's ports on the side of it. There's a little opening here. That is where that goes. So, looks like it would go in here like so. Be very, very gentle. Just line it up with the holes, and you should be good to go. In here, this is just that mounting hardware that this particular PC came with. Not all of them have this. Luckily, I have extra screws literally sitting right to my right. And before we even throw in the processor and everything else, we are throwing in the easy big stuff, because the little stuff is easier. Okay, motherboard's in. Took some time, and admittedly, I wouldn't say it's fully mounted in, but that's okay. Which I'm just going to tighten it down real quick, since I can. Once you prop it up to the side, you're going to start to see what's not fully tightened down, and then tighten it down from there. Don't want to tighten it too much because you will break the board. So, see in just a sec. Alright, motherboard's in. Next things next is we're actually just going to install the fan. Obviously not the actual cooler, just the fan for now. The fan will mount to the top of the roof. Actually, don't even know which direction it's supposed to go. Let's say like that. Okay. So we're gonna mount this real quick, and yeah. Okay, it's mounted now. That took way too long. All right. So next thing we're gonna do, we're actually going to install our power supply. Now, these cables are very important. These cables have their own importance. Some of them go in here, some of them go in the graphics card, but not mixing these up is very important. Cool thing is, in the box here, it has different diagrams, as you can see, to say exactly where everything goes, and everything's fairly labeled. That is always nice to have. So let's mount this bad boy real quick, and yeah, fairly easy. You're gonna go you're gonna go here to the back, a little hole, and this bad boy. Simply, this one you can be a little bit rough with because it's all metal. All right. Simply, it won't exactly lock in to place. Which, now that I'm looking at it, there we go. So yeah. Now I'm holding it in place where it's at. There's screws that'll go in there, which I have right here. We'll screw it into place real quick, and yeah, go from there. A quick tip while I'm screwing this in here: make sure you look at all your PC parts before you start opening them and start building them. Make sure that they don't have damage on them. Make sure they're not, all sorts of messed up, because it will significantly cause problems later on in the future. But It's also easier to make sure you got what you actually got. Um, Sometimes you can get that rare occasion where it's either damaged or something's wrong, and you should be typically able to sit it back. But got it bolts in, 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's actually not fully bolted, but it's okay. So yeah, we got 4 screws here. There's a big fan right here. There is actually vents on the panel here, as you'll probably see. I'll show that a little bit later on. And then, yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy. So the fan's on. Next thing is we're going to be mounting the hard drive, because these little holes here is actually where it mounts into. And looking at this, I'm kind of feeling like an idiot right now. I wish I would have mounted them first, but you live and you learn. And these will just screw into the little 4 holes that are in the back of the hard drive. If you miss the holes, sounds like a skill issue to me. And this really doesn't take too much mounting. Actually, it's very, very simplistic on what it is. And of course, I'm not paying attention to any of this stuff. Yeah, because there's specific cables that go in here. Again, you live and you learn. So let's take this and bring it in here. And of course, this doesn't give me very much room to mess with. Why are they so wide? Oh, because they're not supposed to look like that. I understand it now. So this one is a sideways mounted hard drive port, and for whatever reason, we're not mounting sideways apparently. Well, that's not ideal, but you know. Okay. Alrighty. And boom. Oh, these are too tight. That's what she said. I don't know why she would say that, but she did. That's why Aunt Martha left. For those of you who know the reference, get the reference. For those of you who don't know, you don't know. These are extra cables for all sorts of fun activities. Some of these are power cables that go directly into the motherboard, such as these. There's a few of them, which they will actually need to be poked through, so we are going to poke them through these little holes in the side. But this is probably the most time-consuming thing you're ever going to experience in your entire life. If you want to have a PC, you want to build a PC, you better have a little bit of patience when building these, because you will lose your mind. Cable management is not fun. I've never been good at it. Even with zip ties, doesn't matter. I can never get them figured out to save my life. Boom. Kind of just shoved them in there. Little flappy things. There's a few of them actually. That's where they go through. Boom. Okay. Now, I'm not going to plug anything yet. We have everything there. Oh, SATA cable. We are actually going to plug in the SATA cable. This correlates somehow, some way, some shape or form. But we're just going to kind of, I don't know, pretend like we know what we're doing. We're going to plug it in like that. Boom. And until you hear a click, that's typically how you know something good or bad is happening. And you're going to slide it through that hole again. And then flip this PC around for the 100th time. But we're not done yet, obviously. So we're going to flip it about 17 more times later on throughout the video. But we're going to find out where that went, which is right here. And we are simply going to bring it right up in this direction. And then, so we have it backwards. Okay. And while we're at it, we are going to slide these other ones, these other cables in here, because if your cable nightmare has not become a reality yet, we're making it a reality. I actually don't know where these are supposed to actually go. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to run these down the bottom. This is typically how it goes. You run cables in one direction. You take and decide that the cables going that direction don't work. You typically take the cables back out the way you came in, and then you typically put it back in the way you came. And then you typically take them out, and then you typically put them back in the way you came. And it's rinse and repeat. It's a cycle. And if you haven't gotten used to it yet, then get used to it. We're not going to even mess with those yet. Big thing. This cable right here plugs right into your motherboard, like so. You'll hear a snap, or a click, or something, or an explosion, or a bomb, or... Okay, well, it didn't click, but it's in. I think. Yeah, it looks in. We're actually going to take a segment, a brief little segment. Now we have everything in to put in my new chip. Ooh, fancy. This thing must do something, right? Yes. So, this is your processor, aka your CPU. This is what makes your computer be a computer. So, this is a teensy tiny little chip. This tells your computer what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and where everything needs to go, what everything needs to do. This is the most important part of your entire PC. The other thing is building your PC on what you want to do. Obviously, you're going to want to build your PC to do what you need it to do. So video editing, gaming, whatever. I do a lot of everything. So I do editing, gaming, a whole 9 yards. I needed to do everything. So getting a chip that has the ability to do anything and everything, and has the ability to be overclocked. Typically, you want a chip that's going to start out strong, which is why I recommend, highly recommend. Anytime I've ever built a PC, I've always built with AMD, because Intel's processors are junk. Don't like it? There's the you click on the video. But AMD's are by far the greatest CPUs ever. By the way, they're manufactured. These things are bulletproof. These things will last you a while, and they're strong. They can do a lot of different things. 4.1 gigahertz for clock speed is typically what you need it to be. This one, I forgot the clock speed is, but I'm going to be sending it to about, if it's not at 5.2 gigahertz yet, it will be at 5.2 gigahertz. This chip has the ability to do that and do it flawlessly. So now, there's a little flap here and a little cover guard. I have the cover guard already down. There's a little flap here. Lift up the flap. Actually, let me just lay this PC down. So you have a flap here. The very important thing is, on this chip, you'll actually see this little corner here. There is a little corner there. There's a little engravement. That's actually how you know. And you actually see that little thing there. And it goes just like that. You flip this bad boy down. Actually, this may be a cover that you need to take off. Yes, it is a cover that you need to take off. This helps it so that you're not like getting junk up in it. So then, there's a little flap here. Make sure everything's all nice and tidy. Actually, let me make sure, yep, okay. Nice and tidy, make sure. You don't want to overslam this, you don't want to make sure that, but you want it tight so that it ain't going nowhere. Now we're actually going to be taking these bad boys off, because now the cooling thing will sit right on top of that. Now I know this feels like a big old yap sesh, because it pretty much is, but at this point, now we have to get that metal plate to touch the back of that processor, and then these 4 screws will screw right into where those are at. So let me do that real quick.
So to say I'm an idiot would be an understatement. So I'm an idiot. So I'm trying to mount this thing on here, and it didn't look right at all because it wasn't. So I was missing a whole mounting bracket. But now that we have the mounting bracket, we're going to mount the mounting bracket on and then mount that onto the mounting bracket. If you want to know what this is, which if my camera will focus on it, hello, hello, hello. All right. This is a gel to help hold that onto the chip. I don't really care to use it. I've never used it. Will never use it. So yeah. And if anybody's ever told you how to read, so there's a little instruction here that says that there's an AMD mounting bracket. To remove the Intel, to install the AMD. So I've got one side of the AMD mounting bracket. I just got to do the other. And don't mind that being all scratched up. It doesn't matter. Well, yeah. So this is what happens whenever you put the right stuff on and you actually read instructions. It actually starts fitting. I've just got to tighten these down here. But other than that, yeah. Water cooled system is about to be mounted. After that will be graphics card, fans, RAM, and then actually plugging things in. So, see you in just a second. Another key note here, you don't want it too tight, but you do want it to not be able to move. So, yeah. Coming on to the backside here, do you have these things here? These are actually what block your everything else from getting inside of there. They're all held in by these little screws back here. And your graphics card typically plugs into one of these ports over here. That includes your capture cards. If you ever want to record without using a software, that's kind of the way you do it. We'll go right in there, just like a graphics card. And yeah. And because I have a beefy graphics card, I had to take out two of them. And so, a little bit of finagling, moving out the cable so we don't crush them and destroy them. Kind of just plop in like so. We got to make sure that the actual graphics card is going into the hole and not wherever it decides to be. And it'll actually kind of just pop in like so. And then same screw. We'll screw right into that to hold it into place. So, yeah. Okay. So we have it mounted and everything looks good from there. Then we're going to add the RAM, which is going to go right in these little slots here. Well, I only have one stick, so it's not really only going to go in one slot. But before, we're going to undo these little clips here. It's really hard to see these clips for whatever reason. But there you go. Another one done. And then they literally will go right. What is these cables would not get in my way. Oh no! I believe I made a mistake by putting this thing in my way. So boom. Oh shoot. Let me snap this in place real quick. I need two hands. Well, it's in. It just didn't make a satisfying click. Yeah, it's in. Last thing I got to do is mount fans, which we need exhaust and we need intake fans. Yeah. Okay, so the exhaust fans are now on. They're a little bit dusty because they came from my old PC. We're going to try to fit an intake fan over here, but I don't know how successful that's going to be. So I actually just flipped that around. Now I have plenty of room for my my intake fan. And just like that, intake fan is in. Now the biggest thing is getting everything hooked up. And once that is on, then she's done. I'm super excited. Now, with everything on this motherboard, if you can kind of see, oh, hold on. You can actually see pretty much everything with a port has labels. So like fan 1 there. That is basically where everything is going to get plugged in at. And then, yeah. Alright, now this part isn't too exciting, but a lot of these cables in here are typically LED fans. I don't really care for LED parts. Of course, you know, to each their own. But for me, I don't really like LED ports. So, like this one right here, that's an LED port. That guy right there, that's an LED port. I may do it for the top fans, but the side fans I don't really care for. Their LEDs are already pretty much out in it of themselves. So, I mean, this is really simple. As long as you're like really careful on these little prongs here, they typically just slide right on like so. This needs to be ran in there and ran up to right there. We do need to get one for that right there, because without the graphics card being powered, it will not do anything. A lot of stuff is plugged in. We do have like USB ports. The USB 3.0 port has already been plugged in. But this is basically just minor stuff, and then I'm going to eventually go over everything, and yeah. All right, we have officially wired everything. It looks like junk. Am I wiring? I don't care. I only don't care because I'm on hour number 2 of this PC build. So when it comes to that, the sooner I can be done, the better. Usually it wouldn't take me this long, but there was a few things I had to learn. I had to look for a screwdriver because I'm an idiot. Had to change a mounting bracket because I'm an idiot. And then I had to figure out wiring, because I wasn't sure with new wiring and everything. And but other than that, I think ultimately it's been a long day. Still have to edit this video. This video is definitely not coming out the same day I built this. I could not be bothered. It's probably going to come out tomorrow, which today's Wednesday, so tomorrow, Thursday. Possibly, I don't know. I might wait 2 days. This is pretty exhausting work. And I reminded myself why I'm not a PC builder professionally. I do this once in a blue moon. I know my way around a PC, but you could not pay me to do this every single day. This pains me. Physically pains me to do this. And also one of my rubber things came undone, so there's that. What the? Oh, this is upside down. Again, not a professional PC builder. I just have good advice. Apparently. I'm also yapping because I'm just putting
this glass back on. So like that, right? Yeah, boy. So, newer videos will be coming back. They should also be looking better too. It's probably smoother, look better, you know. I have been craving making some videos. You can probably ask a lot of people that I play with normally. I probably said, I wish I was recording, but I can't until my new PC equipment shows up. Okay, well, this, why on earth do we not mounting the way we should be mounting? Oh. So the structure and integrity of this this case, as I'm just now finding out, is not the greatest. Because the metal chassis is bent all sorts of out of shape. To the point where it's not where it needs to be. That's all right. Oh. And on top of that, I don't really care to have glass, like this much glass. This just so happened to be on one hell of a sale on Black Friday, so I bought it. I usually don't care about LEDs. I don't care about what my PC looks like. I just care about how it performs. And let me tell you, this is going to perform. While I'm finishing this up though, I want to talk about how much this PC costed me. My very first PC, the PC I'm switching over from, cost me about $700. Had the 5600X, GTX 3050, like I said, 40 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte internal hard drive, 6 terabytes for external hard drives, which are these guys right here. No liquid cooling. Yeah. Not the worst thing in the world, but it wasn't the greatest. Knew I was eventually going to upgrade everything. It turns out, didn't know AMD was going to change their chips, which I don't blame them. Wasn't bad. Wasn't a bad choice at all. They changed their chips. Good thing they did. But I did have to change my motherboard. That was a big hit I had to take. And my budget for this one originally was $1,000. If I could build this guy in $1,000, then I would love it. And be happy, actually. Quite happy. That budget had to be increased twice. At first, I made the increase to $1,300. And then I had a secondary budget just in case I hit that $1,300. That secondary budget was $1,500. I just hit the $1,300 with the new graphics card, which obviously isn't here yet. The liquid cooling, the motherboard, the CPU. Almost had to buy fans. Good thing I could pull the old fans out of my out of my old one. I could have saved a little bit of money by not buying power supply, but you live and you learn, and I'm not too far into it for me to care. Let's see. The case itself was, I mean, pretty typical, but the biggest thing was the graphics card and the RAM. My graphics card cost about $380. My RAM costed me $130. 16 gigabytes, by the way. $130. If I would have gone with the one I wanted, I would have doubled my budget. I would have literally took it to 2,000. And I wasn't going to spend 1,000, well, 900 on RAM. So, but other than that, not too bad. I'm not going to do the whole startup process. I don't really care to do that. It's already taken me 2 hours to do this. So, but other than that, thank you all so much for watching. And if you want to know, if you're looking into building a PC and you want some advice, but which parts to buy and whatnot, what kind of budgets to set and everything else like that, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to do the video. But as far as that goes, that's been the PC building, my brand new PC build. And yeah.